UFC BJJ has just had their second event. Both of the streams has gained over 1 million views on YouTube alone, and they have already planned 2 more events. But their plan to take over the world of professional jiu-jitsu might not come as easy as expected. There are a couple of glaring problems that I think they need to fix in order to stay afloat.
It was everything, just creating history.
UFC BJJ has 2 main poster boys that they promote at the moment. The first one is Andrew Tackett. Andrew is ranked 3rd in the minus 70 pound division and 9th in the pound for pound pro grappling rankings. He is definitely a star athlete with an ability to always put on a show. Both Andrew and his brother are genuine likable characters that are easy to relate to, and it shows with the amount of support Andrew has in the BJJ community. Mikey Musumeci is the second one. You've probably heard of him and how he claims to only eat pizza and pasta.
What's really unusual about you is your diet.
Yes.
You're famous for eating pasta and homemade pizza and only eating once a day.
Every night I eat like this.
Mikey is ranked number 1 in a relatively weak 135 pound division and has an extensive career in the Asian promotion One Championship. This was where he mainly built his popularity in the no-gi scene. His record is built from some early Who's Number Ones matches and defeating legends like Iminari and Shinya Aoki during his stay at One. He held the flyweight belt for approximately 2 years until he was stripped after a match with Cade at 170 pounds was cancelled and he was forced to cut down to 135. He didn't make the weight cut, and this soured his relationship with One. After this, he left One to look for new opportunities, which he found at UFC. The UFC was just planning to start a league within BJJ, and in their eyes, he was the perfect person for the job, since Mikey already had an established social media presence, and he had earlier been a big component in the One Championship's grappling league. But why is this chapter called the Mikey problem? Well, in the One days, Mikey was seen as a very positive person. I feel like nowadays he's more negative and serious. A perfect example of this is the podcast he did with Mighty Mouse. He just kept interrupting Mighty and practically yelling during the whole podcast. Interactions and public appearances like this make him very unlikable, especially when you're comparing to the UFC's probably biggest enemy, Craig Jones. Sorry for interrupting. I just quickly want to ask you for a favor. If you enjoyed this content, subscribe to help me reach more people and grow this channel. Craig has publicly been trying to bring down UFC BJJ ever since its first announcement. He mainly expresses dislike in their mission to monopolize BJJ like they did with MMA. Craig uses his event CGI to combat the UFC's mission to attract athletes, claiming that he made sure to lock up people into contracts before UFC could swoop anyone up. He regularly makes jokes about the people working for UFC BJJ, and naturally, Mikey is one of these people. Here comes my problem with Mikey. The way he addresses these jokes and answers back is like how a kid would do it. He seems very offended by some jokes that an Australian dude on the internet is making. I think Mikey should use this opportunity to make jokes back and show personality. It's kinda sad to see someone take it so seriously, and I get that they have a brand to uphold, but I think that more people enjoy sincerity over professionalism in BJJ. Just look at how popular Craig became for making jokes about being gay and having autism. Also, the people at the UFC not being able to credit Craig and the team at CGI for the inspiration for their bowl-shaped competition stage and the rule set comes off as petty. I get that Craig is against the UFC, but I think admitting that the rules were inspired by CGI and that the bowl was inspired by Karate Combat and CGI would make them more likable. Attracting athletes and
everyone kind of got to connect, and might have been like the first time we all...
Attracting athletes and being able to pay them is going to be another big problem. What do I mean by this? Well, for the UFC to sign a stacked 15-man roster in all weight classes is going to be nearly impossible. With the amount of people that are used to being paid in this free market, signing that many competitors would be really hard. Why am I saying it's impossible? Well, let's get into the statistics and math. Right now, they host their events at the Apex in Las Vegas. This venue is cheaper than renting a new arena for every event. The Apex holds a seating capacity of approximately 1,000 people. Since finding tickets online felt like it was impossible, let's say the price is $130. That makes the max revenue from tickets to be $130,000. Then there is the sponsorship money. They definitely get a whole lot from this since their views are in the millions. I don't even want to try to estimate what this number is, so we'll leave it as a question mark. Then there is the streaming. Since they stream every match free on YouTube, I wouldn't think they make a lot of money from this. The UFC pay percentage on the MMA side to athletes is about 16 to 18%. So let's say they follow this trend. That would make $20,800 or $23,400 plus the eventual sponsorship money to be the amount split among the athletes for an event. And with every event hosting 16 athletes, that's not a lot of money going around to the competitors. And from what it sounds like right now, there are some guys competing in Jiu-Jitsu that charge over $20,000 to compete. So I don't see how the UFC would be able to build a 16-man event with recognizable names. Take for example the last event, UFC BJJ 2, where Mason Fowler won the light heavyweight belt against David Garmo. I watched on BJJ And I know Fowler, he's a legitimate competitor in the heavier weight classes, and he's been around for a long time. But who is David Garmo? When I look at his main achievements on BJJ Eastern Europe, I see that most of his wins are from 4 to 7 years ago. Another example is Kyle Chambers. I mean, no disrespect to the guy, but he hasn't just been active in the recent years. And still he got to immediately go against the number 2 ranked 195 pounder William Tackett. I must remind you, Kyle Chambers isn't on any top 15 list. It feels like their strategy is to sign 1 or 2 really big names in one division, then have them go against significantly lower ranked athletes because it's cheaper, instead of signing several really big athletes that will build a division. I could, however, be completely wrong. Dana claimed that they have invested 10 to 12 million into the BJJ section of the organization. It could be possible that a lot of the people they have signed are set to compete at CGI, so we might see more announcements coming soon, and I will be proven wrong. BJJ has always been seen as the boring part of MMA. Fighters that are mainly strikers have always been bigger stars. I think the reason for this is because jiu-jitsu is hard to understand. When 2 people are hitting or kicking each other, it's a lot easier for a casual viewer to understand who's winning. This is the complete opposite for BJJ and wrestling, as a lot of things that can seem bad for a fighter might actually be good. A common idea is that being on the bottom is bad, but this rule is broken by fighters like Diego Lopez and Charles Oliveira. This unfamiliarity that most fans have with BJJ make it a strange sport to watch for many. The UFC has already scheduled more BJJ events. UFC BJJ 3 will take place 2nd of October and UFC BJJ 4 will take place on December 11th. So there's definitely more to come in the future, and I think if they can keep putting on exciting fights and promoting it to social media, they have a really good chance at being at the top of grappling promotions. Their main focus right now should be on satisfying the jiu-jitsu fan base, and maybe Mikey should chill a bit too. I liked him more when he was calmer, but these are just my opinions. Remember that. What do you think? Am I stupid for questioning a multi-billion-dollar company's business idea? Tell me in the comments what you think the future of UFC in BJJ is.